the other myth, which is even more dangerous, which is the idea that, well, we are where we are, that this is all very unfortunate, that it's something that's happened in the past, that we were pressured into it, and maybe we shouldn't have done it back then even, but look, we are where we are, it's done, and there's nothing that can be done about it. So I'd like to just focus in a little bit on that. Can you explain what's currently happening in terms of the destruction of money by the central bank? 10.5 billion since 2014, another 14.5 billion to go. Can you explain how that works, why that doesn't make sense from the point of view of people in this country, and what the alternative is?
The way it's reported, the only place it is reported is in the, you'll get a little report in the RTE News website and in the Irish Times, and it's basically a copy and paste report. So it looks to me like something that has been fed out from either the Central Bank or the Department of Finance, that they just copy and paste, because all of these, every time something happens, they're almost identical to the previous one that has been issued. And what they declare it almost to be a good news story, you know, that the Central Bank has made a profit on this IBRC, note of the IBRC wind-up notes. They declared a profit of 150 billion or whatever like that went to the Exchequer because they sold this 500 million euro bond for 650 million euro or whatever, and it's presented a good news story. God, the country has made 150 billion euro, and what is not told is the full story. And this is why I have a major problem with some of the media here, that they talk about fake news. But there's incomplete news also, which is almost as bad as fake news. In fact, it can be worse than fake news, because what they don't tell us is what happened to the 500 million euro. Like the Central Bank got 650, let's say, and they gave 150 million to the Exchequer. But what happened to the 500 million? And that's never mentioned. And what happens to that 500 million is it's destroyed. And that's what's happening with this money. Like the money, the 31 billion euro was printed by the Central Bank and given to these banks, and allowed that, the ECB allowed this to happen. And because those banks are wound up and weren't able to repay that money, that 31 billion euro has to be taken back out of circulation. And that's what's happening. That's what this process is about. It's taking that 31 billion euro back out of circulation. The Central Bank is given 650 million euro, but they're given it by the National Treasury Management Agency. So it's all borrowed money that's buying these bonds. So even the 150 million euro that's being declared as profit is also borrowed money. It's borrowed by the NTMA. The 650 million euro is given to the Central Bank for the 500 million euro bond. The 500 million euro is destroyed. Push the button, that money is taken out of circulation, and 150 million euro is declared as a profit to the Exchequer. And this is all that's being reported here is that we made a profit of 150 million euro. What's not being reported is that it's all a circular action. The 150 million euro profit is also borrowed money. It's borrowed by the NTMA and given to the Central Bank, who then give it to the government. So the entire 650 million euro becomes new debt. And the thing about this new debt is that from the moment that the Central Bank is given that 650 million euro, we are paying interest on that 650 million euro. The 150 million that they get in interest, given interest to the government, plus the 500 million euro, that's destroyed. So we're paying interest on that 650 million euro from then. And that 650 million euro also has to be repaid in full when the bond matures. So this is happening right now. And over the last 4 years, at a time when this country was crying out for money, and I listened to people like highly paid radio presenters talking to people like yourself, Paul, when you talk about, the money for Irish water could come from here, the money to fix the hospital system could come from here, the money, and you say, but where will we get the money? But our central bank destroyed 10.5 billion euro in the last 4 years. And it was borrowed money. This was money that the NTMA had and could have used for other things. But they choose, and this government has chosen, to accelerate the destruction process. And Michael, I think you had made a point about that in the Dáil, I think it was earlier this year. And they've chosen to accelerate the process, but they are destroying real money. And people are saying this is only all computerised money. The debt is real. The interest that we're paying is real. And the suffering and the deprivation then of services here is real as a result. That money that the NTMA had and gave to the central bank could have been used for other issues here. But they've chosen instead to destroy the money.